Hello, I'm Stephen Axford and I lead the government's work to develop and to implement the UK strategy for agricultural technologies. Our vision for agricultural technologies is very much that the UK becomes a world leader. This means we'll be able to exploit many opportunities to adopt and develop new and existing technologies, and we'll be able to increase the number of products and services we offer. Ultimately, we'll be able to contribute, we hope, to global food security and to international development. The Cheltenham Dialogue raised a number of issues with which we're already very familiar, but it's nice to be able to have it reinforced that we're on the right lines. And I think it's probably a good place to sort of think about whether we would want to do something like this on a more regular basis as part of keeping our own understanding high of what is going on over a very complex and diverse stakeholder community. Things that might be seen as barriers are perhaps more in the political space, and they do relate to some of the technologies whereby we have to work within a regulatory framework that is largely set by Europe, and sometimes this may be seen as a bit of a constraint on innovation and the use of newer technologies. So sometimes we are not able to do as much as we can to actually provide new products and perhaps improvements that ultimately benefit the consumer, but we have to work within the regulatory environment that we live in the UK. What we do know in terms of opportunities is that we have the excellence of our science base, and that there is much more we can do to use that to drive innovation, increased efficiency, perhaps increased productivity in agricultural systems, not just in the UK but also globally. That's not easy to answer, but I think there is at least one way of thinking that we must be very open to, and that is the partnerships between the publicly funded elements of science, such as the research councils and the work they support in universities and institutes, and the work that business funds and the demands that business make of science and technology. I think there is far more we can do to align the needs, the challenges, the demands, the questions, the unanswered questions that come from business with the potential within the science base. And I do suspect that in something that is so genuinely applied as agriculture, we are going to have to see a much better relationship between the businesses that work in agriculture and in food manufacturing and in retail, working with the science and the scientists in the research base. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen for a moment, but I think to make a step change, we're going to have to see much more partnering between those two areas. One area that we are absolutely sure is critical is the way we consider the use of data and information and look at the metrics by which we judge whether we are actually developing sustainable, in the long term, sustainable agricultural systems. So we have announced as part of the strategy the fact that we will establish a centre for agricultural informatics, and I think that's an area where many of our stakeholders and partners will want to be closely involved. As I've already alluded, we still have a long way to go with this strategy. In reality, we will only begin to see benefits in real terms, I suspect, over a period of several years. And whilst we can do a lot to establish the processes, we have to be patient, and yet we have to keep on understanding what impact we are having over the short and medium term. We will continue to engage with a wide stakeholder base to, for example, over the setting up the themes for the Centres for Innovation. And while that will be principally with the sort of the experts, with the researchers and with the industry, there will inevitably be a need to have a handle on what the public will think about particular technology issues, and how perhaps the ultimate food consumer would react to the use of technology or changes within the way we deliver agriculture in this country and how we support agricultural systems across the world.